Vision. I'm Melanie. Thanks so much for clicking. To my returning family, the Visionaries, thank you for your continuous love and support. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please feel at home. Have you had an opportunity to hit that subscribe button yet? If not, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, hit subscribe. And please don't forget to like and share. I came across another really great interview, guys. I'm so excited. When I come across broadcasters or journalists that handle themselves professionally and conduct an exceptional interview where I'm educated, I just have to come and share it with you. Recently on Metro FM, Faith interviewed Julius Malema. And honestly, I was engaged through the entire interview. Not only was I educated in the way that she handled herself professionally, but also with what Julius Malema was sharing. They talked about everything under the sun because, of course, leading up to the elections, the broadcasters and journalists want to paint a picture of who this person is as an individual, but also as a leader. She asked some hard-hitting questions, including accountability for the EFF and how they handled it with the DP, with the ethics committee.
So the EFF stands by the notion that you keep the members of the EFF accountable?
Yes.
You keep those that are in government accountable?
Absolutely.
I saw it demonstrated even to much of the noise when it came to the EFF's 10th birthday celebration. There were certain councils that did not deliver, for example, on buses to bring people into the stadium and the agreements that they had made.
Yes.
On the other side, on the issue of accountability, let's talk a little bit about accountability on behalf of the Deputy President of the EFF, right? So you've got the Joint Committee on Ethics and Members' Interest that found that Floyd Shivambu, your DP, breached item 10.1.1 of the Code of Ethical Conduct and Disclosure of Members' Interests for the National Assembly and Permanent National Council. Of course, the member of the House had an imposition of a penalty reduction of 9 days' worth of salary, and that, of course, was related to the $180,000 that was paid to him in 2017 by Skamega Pty Limited. Right? There was a penalty because wrong was done. How then, if you are keeping your councils accountable, if you're keeping local government accountable, how then do you keep your DP accountable? Because this is clearly something was done wrong. How do you keep the same accountability and impose the same accountability to your Deputy President, Floyd Shivambu, as you would keep to anybody who's a member of the EFF?
Yes. That thing you're talking about is us keeping him accountable, because I'm a member of that committee which found Floyd guilty and said, we're taking your 9 days salary. What more must I do? I've held him accountable. But he says, hold on, you are wrong. This is not donation, it's a loan. And no ethics code demand of us to disclose loans. That's why we've got so many loans. If they were saying we must declare loans, so we don't disclose loans. He says it's a loan. He's got an affidavit, a signed affidavit from the police station, which he gave to SARS, and SARS accepted, by the way, which he gave to the committee. After the committee, by the way, Floyd was found guilty by the committee in absentia without being given an opportunity to present his side of the story. I had to fight inside there that he must be called, and only to realize they were communicating with him with a wrong email. Despite not giving him an opportunity to present his side of the story, they still proceeded to find him guilty. I'm a member of the committee. I must accept that this is a decision of the committee. But I'm happy the Deputy President is taking this matter on review. He says, I'm not going to allow this. It's not a donation, it's a loan. I've heard some fools saying, but the company without a finance certificate as a financial service provider can't give you a loan. Well, so siblings help each other. So Floyd says, my brother gave me a loan and I'm going to pay for it. SARS accepted this explanation. Why not? So that's where we are. But all I'm saying is, this is EFF in the Ethics Committee holding a Deputy President accountable. It's not the EFF that is going to court to challenge that decision. It's the individual who feel offended and aggrieved by that decision. And it is well within his right to go to court. I'm happy you didn't say VBS, because nowhere did Parliament say it took the money of VBS. There's no VBS anyway, which is proven that the noise that was made around VBS was actually man-made and concocted to want to drive a certain narrative to discredit the EFF. That has not been found in the EFF, in Floyd's case. It's him and his brother exchanging monies and then saying they owe each other. That's where we are.
Well, I'm not on a witch hunt, so the good thing is that you're actually speaking to a journalist that reads.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
But also sensitive questions about foreigners in South Africa. She also handled the calls that came in and the WhatsApp voice messages very, very well. And that takes a real art because you never know what's going to be said, what's going to be asked. And there was a particular call that really stood up from
South Africans are afraid that we're going to have an influx of illegal foreign nationals into this country and there will be nowhere for South Africans to go.
It's an imaginary thing. Do you know that there is no fence in Lesotho? Yet the Lesotho people are not here. Actually, Malema is the one who used to tell us this in the youth league, that but what Lesotho ba ajwa froba no bi halagamu elisubela ba wela mrao. It's imaginary. It's the colonizers dividing us and making us to hate each other for no reason. They will never come. Faith, Gauteng is more richer than Limpopo. The Limpopo people are poor. It's the poorest province. But I want about Limpopo. They are there. If that logic works, it doesn't have to start with a Nigerian who has to take so many flights to arrive here. If the poor are going to come, if there are no borders, and go where there are more opportunities, why much Limpopo was abandoned? Limpopo, there's too many opportunities here. It's not true. No one will ever leave their home for that reason. But secondly, it's not the EFF that has always made Africans to come together. This city you are sitting in, it was built by the sweat and the hard work of all Africans. Mozambicans, Malawians, all of them. This mine that I told you that the anchor of the South African economy is mining complex. These mines that are supporting our economy have always been mined by Africans without the EFF being formed. That's why the language Fanaka law was developed, because Africans have always been together, which is a clear demonstration that Africans have always been together. There's never been a point where Africans have never been together. Letswere gate, auna fence. Kunoba gate fela mo Lesotho mo Swaziland mo Mozambique mo. There is no fence. Our people are already interacting, as it were, without any influx of any people coming to take from the poor of the
our
poor.
South Africans are already feeling marginalized and disenfranchised. And that's why there's this notion, and I truly don't believe South Africans are xenophobic.
Yes.
I feel like the issue and the notion of xenophobia is a very simplistic view of the issues of South Africa. South Africans are unemployed, Julius.
Yes.
That's a fact. South Africans don't have economic power. That's a fact. The very same illegal, undocumented foreign nationals are being used as truck drivers, as waiters and waitresses, and they're used as cheap labor because the employer gets away with murder. It disenfranchises the South African who is also looking for that job. I'm not saying every South African is going to want to be a truck driver, but it's certainly taking away the opportunity from that South African that wants to be that truck driver. So then how then do we start reconciling it? Because at the heart of it, it's economic issues, and we can't run away from that. So where do you reconcile and say, yeah, there are too many illegal foreign nationals here that are being used by capital as a form of cheap labor?
Well, it's imaginary. There's no such a thing that there are illegal foreigners who are waiters and waitresses. It's unscientific. It's not proven. It's not true. Secondly, these people that we are saying are taking our jobs and economic opportunities, Faith, let's line up the buses now and put them into the buses and let them go. We'll still be poor. Actually, more poorer without them, especially you, the black elite, because it is you who have hired these people into your houses. So it's not true that when they leave, you'll get jobs. They do not own these people that you're talking about. They do not own the means of production. They don't own the land. They don't own the banks. They don't own the financial sector. They don't own monopoly industries, which is what should create jobs, not what you're talking about. Now I get told Zimbabwe security. But me and a Zimbabwean must fight over being a security guard. Why should we fight over that? Why are you not saying, let's all mobilize each other? And I never said South Africans are xenophobic in all of my articulation. I'm saying this thing is imaginary because South Africans coexist with these people. They don't have a problem. But let me make the last point. Yeah, in Alexander, Dudula goes and remove those foreigners, all of them who are selling tomatoes in some open space there. They remove them completely successfully. They go. Not a single South African went to occupy that space where they were selling. As a result, Alexander people started complaining. South Africans didn't go and sell at that land. And it's just that, we say these things here, now. They don't record them so that during your spare time, they must say, Faith, you like reading, you like researching, you like being exposed to these things. Now, Dudula has moved people here. This is what they were doing. Let's make an observation and see what's going to happen in a week's time. If indeed these people have taken anything from South Africans, let's go and see what will happen in a week's time. Nothing will happen. If anything, those people are going to come back, they are going to be received, and our people are going to buy from those people. The nonsense I don't agree with is this thing of selling expired food. The EFF and all community leaders, it is in their hands to confront people who are selling expired food in the township, in the villages, and even in town. Because it's not only those people in the spaza shops who sell expired food. Even shops like Spa sell expired food. So the story should not be about cheap people that we undermine and we can always speak bad about them and to them. It must also be the struggle must be taken to the powers that be. That in South Africa, ShopRite, Checkers, whoever you are, you're not going to sell expired food because we're going to confront you if you do that.
So you could tell she was keeping her finger on the pulse of what South Africans were looking at. She talked about so many different things, and Julius Malema really responded well to her. So you could see that he was comfortable speaking with her because obviously he felt that she was professional. I'm going to play this couple clips for you to take a listen to, and I want you to drop your comments below because what I find are these three things, and I want your comments. First of all, she was professional, well prepared, and definitely sensitive to her callers and her interviewee. And the second thing is that she was well informed, well read, and informed about what she was trying to convey in this interview. And third and foremost, you could tell she was an absolute professional, tons of experience, being able to handle the calls.
With Dixon. Dixon, hi.
Hi, Faith.
Hi, Dixon. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, now I'm so disturbed and I'm so disappointed by my brother in the studio. You know that security guard that is talking about those competing with an illegal foreigner is supporting his children with that money for being a security guard. You understand? And one other thing, I'm a victim myself of this illegal foreigners who are employed in our country. You remember I called you some weeks ago when the minister was there saying that my company is employing 95% illegal foreigners.
Yes, I remember. And I even gave Minister ANCYL your contact details so that he can sort this issue out.
You know what's the problem?
Yes, sir.
People are saying these foreigners are hard workers more than us. They find us here, we teach them the job. You know what they do? They do extra activities when these white people ask them to go to their houses to clean after their dogs. They go there. So now that you cannot go to their houses to clean after their dogs, they say now you are a bad person because foreigners agree to that. They agree to being exploited. So I even tried to phone the regional office of the EFF. I think it's Philip Makwala or something like that. That guy never even came back to me. You know what I'm trying to say? We are not xenophobic in South African.
And it's the employer that is doing this, Dixon, time and time again. Dixon, I've noted your point. I want to take one more call, sir, but I thank you very much. I've noted your point because you have phoned in to express this very same concern. It binds them up. But I've got Dixon here, and Dixon's issue is very pertinent because he says that the company that he works for, 95% of them the companies hire 95% of illegal foreign nationals because the bosses view them as less problematic in inverted commas. How does one even, how does one even reconcile that? Or where does justice come in? And how do they impose justice in an existential phenomena that happens of this nature?
Well, it's not a big problem. We can go there tomorrow and remove those foreign illegal foreigners. There is a law in South Africa on how those issues get to be dealt with. And I'm happy you said to Dixon, it's not those foreigners the problem. The problem is the employer who employ undocumented foreigners. If he's really doing that, he's committing crime. There are laws in this country that governs that. And I'm actually sorry that I disappointed Dixon by saying I'm not going to fight for jobs of security guard. I want bigger than that. I don't want Dixon to be a security guard. I want him to own the farm. I want him to own the industries. I want him to be an industrialist. And that's where my struggle is. My struggle is not to perpetuate slavery of black people. And if that disappoints Dixon, it's his own problem. I'm not going to retreat from that. I'm fighting for a bigger thing. And that bigger thing is black people owning the economy of South Africa. And that's my focus. And so basically, but I can tell you now, if there is an illegal foreigners who are being hired without following the due process, tomorrow, this Philip Makwala is talking about can go there and solve that problem tomorrow. He doesn't even have to have a problem of calling radios. We can solve it in less than no time. And we're not going to talk to those illegal foreigners. We're going to tell the bosses, you're going to stop this nonsense, and it's going to stop with immediate effect. I can tell you that. But I deal with that every day, but it's not core of my program. My program is to take the banks from the hands of the minority into the hands of the majority so that we can have a say in the banking sector of South Africa.
Gabetsu in Johannesburg South. Hi.
How are you?
Very well, thanks to you, Mama. Go ahead.
Good, thanks. I just wanted to find out, Julius Malema did not answer you when you asked about ANC saying they're divorcing. I understand his choice of words, but are you going to remain in coalition with the ANC, yes or no? I think that's a simple answer.
We're not in a coalition with the ANC. Therefore, the question yes or no doesn't exist. We're not in coalition with the ANC. If we know what a coalition is, then you will know we're not in a coalition with the ANC.
All right. May you explain what the arrangement in the city of Johannesburg
I did. I said the mayor of Johannesburg invited us, and then we responded to the invitation by the mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I want to talk a little bit. You're speaking about the economy. So let's talk a little bit about the economy, right? I saw that as of June 2023, you had national government that had accumulated 4.3 trillion rand in total domestic debt, right? That means that I think the finance minister, Enoch Kotokwana, was saying that I think for every 1 rand or so, 18 cents or so is actually gone to service debt, right? This, if you win 2024 and you become the president of the country, you are inheriting a debt of 4.3 trillion rand. How do you solve this issue around debt accumulation in the country? Because we keep borrowing from the World Bank, we keep borrowing from IMF. Debt comes with terms and conditions that apply. How do you resolve?
Well, the first is to refuse to recognize apartheid debt. Our problem started when we accepted the apartheid debt, that people were borrowing money to kill us. And then we take government and say, that money which was borrowed to kill us will pay for that money. We ought to, from the beginning, said we're not going to pay for an apartheid debt. And we will not recognize this debt of the ANC, of World Bank and IMF, which is given to us even when they can see that we've got a crisis of affordability. They keep on giving it to us because they want to control us. They want to control the politics. They want to control the policy. They want to give the economic direction of this country through debt. And the EFF's position is very clear. We do not recognize debt of the IMF and the World Bank. They need to be confronted and they need to be told, you build a problem for us from when you impose the apartheid debt on a democratic government. That debt was meant to kill us. Why should we reward people by paying the money that was borrowed to kill us?
Let's talk a little bit also about 2024.
Yes.
Voter apathy is a reality in this country. It's been dwindling since 1994, in fact. The median age, which is very ironic in South Africa, is about 28 years of age. Those are the people that are actually citizens, the majority, 61 or so % of them are 28 years of age in this country in terms of being youth. Now, they're not voting. They're not voting because they don't trust you politicians. They're not voting because they don't trust that you will deliver on your promises. So why is it that a young person who's 24 years old listening to this conversation, why must they vote for you? Why must they make you president of the republic?
Well, I'm happy that you raised that point because the youth don't see politics working for them. So the first thing you do is to make sure that politics work for the youth. And once they see the politics working for them, they will come in their numbers. Look at what we did at the institutions of higher learning. When we took over the SRCs, we said the budget which is spent on Freshers Born festivals must be cut by 70%. That 70% must go and feed the needy students at the universities. They used to spend millions at universities doing bashes with the SRC money. We cut that and we give the poor lunch and supper from the money that was supposed to organize festivals. What happened? The youth then realized that in the institutions of higher learning, that this thing is working for us. As a result, there is a mood all over universities of educated people, not illiterate, educated people who say we want to make an educated vote, and that vote is for the EFF because we can see that the politics are working for us in the institutions of higher learning. Let's make the politics to work for our people. What will you do? I'll give them the land. I will give them access to education free of charge. I will beneficiate the minerals of South Africa and industrialize the economy of South Africa so that we're not an economy of consumers, we're an economy of people who produce. Manufacturing ought to be revived in South Africa if we're to create sustainable jobs. I will end load shedding in less than no time because load shedding is man-made. When there is World Cup, there is no load shedding. When children write matric exam, there is a load shedding. Have you ever seen such madness in life where we must switch on the lights to see rugby and then switch off the lights when the children are writing an exam? What type of this load shedding are we dealing with? It has got eyes and ears. It knows that Kolisi is about to pick up the ball. It doesn't go. When Kolisi finishes, then it goes. It goes with the World Cup. It's man-made. It's created to empower Cyril.
Who made it?
Cyril. And the
Cyril
ANC.
Ramaphosa made load shedding.
Yes.
How?
Because they want to empower the IPPs. They don't maintain the coal power stations. They close coal power stations because the biggest problem at the center of what we're dealing with here is the maintenance of our power stations. That's why they tell you Unit 1 has collapsed, Unit 3 has collapsed. There is nothing magical that Brian Molefe did and Marcelo Gogo did. All they did was to make sure they maintain our own power stations. They close this one. They know if we close this one for 2 days, it will be up. Before you know it, we go to the next one. There's generally no maintenance, and corruption is eaten away. ESCOM, what do? They then say, no, let's load shed so that we create a crisis. When we introduce independent power producers, our people are going to say, oh, maybe there is a solution here. Let's go with independent power producers. Who is independent power producers? It's Remgro. Who owns Remgro? It's Johan Rupert. You're now going to be given electricity by Johan Rupert. I mean, this crisis, Faith, let's go to Prasa. Look, there's no long-distance trains from November last year until today. The people of Limpopo used to occupy that train full to capacity. Eastern Cape, full to capacity. They rent locomotives, put them there, and then do not give them to people. And then they say, we spend 600 million, these locomotives only gave us 10 million. Then we all say, no, it means it's a waste of money. That's why we can't spend 600 million only to get 10 million. No, they didn't use the locomotives. They hired with 600 million, put them there, and create an imaginary crisis so that when they come and say, let's outsource this thing to our friends, people should say, no, maybe we'll get trains because we've not been getting trains. All of this is a fact. Under the President Ramaphosa, who said he's going to be corrupt-free, he's going to be transparent, he's going to do lifestyle audit on ministers, he's going to crack the whip on corruption. This government has become the most corrupt government that switches off lights for children who are writing matric exams.
Let me take Kaya in Tonga. Hi, Kaya.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Very well, thanks, and you, sir. Go ahead.
Good. So, Mr. Malema, quick question, sir. How are you planning to take over the economy that has been built on systems that oppresses the majority of our people? Is the better that you build economy that will accommodate everything instead of taking the one that already exists. Because all the systems that are in place, right, are putting us where we are, which I'm not going to go into detail on that. Second question, you led a campaign of going and checking all the restaurants who are employing foreign nationals, and they said that South Africans must be in those restaurants. But today you're saying that no, that's not the case, or the foreign nationals are not taking South Africans' jobs. I'm a bit confused on that.
No, I just said to you, I can go there tomorrow in a company where they say they are illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants, to confront the employer, not the employees. They don't employ themselves. I'm saying, instead of fighting these ordinary people who come into this country looking for greener pastures, get exploited by the employer who violate our laws, those are the people I can confront even tomorrow. If Dixon was to say to me, Mr. Malema, here's the address, this is where these people are, I will wake up and go there to confront the employer, not employees. I'm not going to have black on black violence with my own brothers and sisters. But the white establishment, which makes us fight, is the one that needs to be confronted.
Mr. Julius Malema, much appreciated for your time this evening. Thank you so much for this. I hope it's not the last time that we see you.
No, this is home.
What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments below and let's have a conversation. I really appreciated this interview, and I will be definitely looking for more interviews by this particular broadcaster. So I'm dying for you to let me know who else I need to check out. Other radio hosts, podcast hosts, or broadcasters or journalists. Drop them below and let's have a conversation. And of course, please don't forget to hit that notification button, like and share, and we'll see you next time. Bye.